What we're gonna do, what we're gonna do. For fuck's sake, for fuck's sake. The world's gone mad and I'm sharing it with you. For fuck's sake, for fuck's sake. So sit right down, grab a glass of wine, maybe a cup of tea and some chocolates, and join me for another For Fuck's Sake.
You look so pretty, Judy.
Yes, I do. And why is that? Because I actually made an effort today to look good for the man, the legend, the legume, who I have spent more time on the road with than you have had hot dinners. Yes, it's true. I am here with Mr. Rack himself, Leland Sklar. Woo! Come on, Matt.
Thanks.
Pull it out, mate.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, come
Thanks,
on.
babe.
Fuck's sake.
Love being here with you. I can't tell you.
Well, that's the
I
problem.
really can't. I really can't.
So this time, because there were a lot of upset Lee fans last time. This time he's mic'd, he's dangerous, he's out of control. Say something brutal.
You look so pretty, Judy.
Yeah. Before he was being a rock, like a monster, but no, there he goes.
Yeah.
So we're all very, very excited. There you go. Have you got it there? There we go. So I know my fans, all three of them, top fans are so thrilled to see you.
I'm thrilled to be here with you, really.
I'm
so
thrilled.
excited you're back from England.
Oh my God! I have to say, I was less excited to be here but I am excited now.
Yeah. But
So
you got
excited.
to visit your sister. You
Oh
got to do
my
all kinds
God!
of
I got to do everything,
wonderful
and I'm going
things.
back again.
Yeah.
And I'm going back again. But then you're going on the road. True story. With the immediate family. Watch this space. Watch this fucking space. I can't. I mean,
can't wait.
I
I'm so
know.
excited about it.
I know.
But I'd
much rather it was
rather
me.
be with you.
I know. Thank you. That was
Because they don't
actually-
shop.
They don't shop. Now we're going to be talking about shopping shortly. But what I'm going to do, watch me. Woo! We're going 5 years back to 2016. Where the fuck did the time go? Two of those
kidding.
years have gone just with this
I
bollocking.
usually ask the drummer, where did the time go? But now we're having a different conversation.
Yeah, or rather, what is time
What
in
is
your
time?
world?
What's time to a drummer?
What? Nothing. Because you know why? I'm going to say it, and this doesn't mean Pedro Segundo, because he's not a drummer,
Who?
as we describe him. Who? It's a tough room. Tough room. But time is never something that ever gets in the way of a drummer. And the other thing is, don't ever describe a drummer as a musician, because you get into fucking trouble if you do. Yeah. People that hit things. Anyway, we love them. Pedro, we miss you.
Who?
So I just want to take you back to 2016. Woo! There we are. And the release of Somebody's Child. Remember that? How much fun that was being on the road. Those were halcyon days.
Really were.
They
and
were,
I, and,
weren't
and
they?
I love that you've been playing Scrabble a lot, so you have words like halcyon right on the tip of your tongue.
Fuck you.
Okay, thank you.
There's a lot of love in the room.
pretty, Judy.
But the truth is, they were halcyon days because
Yeah.
we could tour, we could be on the road, we could shop.
I could carry bags.
This is the greatest Sherpa that any woman has ever known, all right? Not only the indulger of my shopping habit, which is terrifying. Don't tell Harry. He would never know. Just has to look at the bank statement. But he is the greatest hoofer and carrier of all known bags, okay? So here's how I would describe being on the road. Being on the road, touring, is like, for somebody like Leland Sklar and myself, and I have known no better time in this world because we both love galleries, art galleries, museums, finding out about the place you're in is the most exciting thing.
Yeah.
And because we're both so sober, and that's what we care about. It's not about hiding in the room. I never understood that.
Yeah.
But so we'd be out and about, checking things out, looking for stuff, just finding the history and the joy of the place, and finding inappropriate places for me to dance in. Oh yes.
Miss
So
that.
miss that
Miss
so
that
much.
so
I miss
much.
that so much.
Yeah.
But really, no better fun. Being on the road was like being like an explorer, going on a great, exciting journey, an adventure that was sometimes interrupted by the odd gig or radio spot. So that's exactly how I've always felt about being on the radio. Oh boy, and we've got some stories of that too.
Wow.
So let me take you back, ladies and germs, my darling top fans of For Fuck's Sake, by singing the song, yes, the title track of said album, Somebody's Child, before I launch you into two of my favorite moments, countries where we toured the album, and some of the most amazing stories from that. So here we go. Let's start right now with Somebody's Child.
There's a girl on the street in a trash bag dress. There's a baby in her belly and milk in her breast. And I'm crossing the street 'cause she's acting so wild. But she used to be me and she's somebody's child. So spare a little thought for the down and out, 'cause it's true. If the tables were turned, if the deal was different, it might be you. Well, look at that man, he lives in his car, 'cause a run of bad luck went and pushed him too far. A woman who lives in a box out the back, when she started out, did her dreams include that? So spare a little thought, the down and out, 'cause it's true. If the tables were turned, if the deal was different, it might be you. So leave them on the streets if their families don't care. Crow's feet to fill, we've got no cash to spare. And the food lines are endless, the shelters are full, and such as the things they don't teach you in school. So give a little thought, the down and out, 'cause it's true. Ooh. If the tables were turned, if the deal was different, it might be you. There's a girl on the street in a trash bag dress. There's a baby in her belly and milk in her breast. I'm crossing the street 'cause she's acting so wild. She used to be me and she's somebody's child. You know, she used to be me. You know, she used to be me, and she's somebody's
You are so good. That's great.
I sometimes forget. Oh, me too. Let me tell you. Oh, my thing's gone all. Oh, my little thing is just the visual has stopped, but the comments are coming in, and it's such a pleasure to play together again.
I've
It's a
missed this so
joy.
much.
It's a joy. It's a joy. It's so wonderful. So I'm going to take you down memory lane, and I'm going to take you too, Leland Sklar.
I have no memory, so this is all fresh to
Well,
me.
you have no memory.
Thank you. I'm leaking.
You see, that was
Thank you,
so
sorry. Inappropriate?
Yes.
Thank you. You look so pretty, Jude.
Now, here's the thing. One of the reasons that what we do love Leland Sklar so much is he is inappropriate. Leland, inappropriate Sklar tissue. That's what I call you, and I love you so much. You know that. So here we go. Yeah, MG Cairns, you enjoyed that. Thank you so much, everyone. Joel, oh yeah. We're loving this. Bass. Oh, is the bass low, says Kevin Albender. So here's what, it is on that track, but don't worry. I think we could do with turning up, and Sue Flood Photography.
Hi, Sue.
Hey, I
Hi,
think we
Kevin.
can turn the bass up a little bit, you know, Kevin. I think we should. Because even though you'll hear it very clearly in other songs, I still think it needs to pump a bit more than that. Oh, I used the word pump. And the problem is that when you're
I'm here trying, so at least give me a break and
I
let
know.
me be
Oh,
heard.
for fuck's
Jesus
sake.
Christ.
For fuck's sake. See, the thing is, bass in our smartphones, in our iPads, in everything. Come on in, mate, and turn it up. We have a lovely gentleman who's... There he is. Woo! Yeah. Keep it short. So we have... Sorry.
Bye.
Bye. Miss you. Somebody else to be mean to. That's my idea of fun.
Yeah, it's just cruelty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abject.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. That's the reason we sound so great today. And some might say, the reason why Lee sounds so low.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You look so pretty.
Thank you. So here's the thing. It's very difficult to hear the bass in our smart things, isn't it? It just is the way it is because it cuts out the fucking bass. You know. Anyway, we're trying. Now we're coming to the bit that I love. It is a trip down memory lane between Leland Sklar and myself. And one of my favorite times that we spent together was so many. But this one will remain in infamy to me. And I don't know what that means. But Germany. Language of love. German. Now, when we were on tour promoting Somebody's Child, for whatever reason, I do believe that we started pretty much like a full throttle, throbbing tour of Germany.
Yeah.
And so I think from all the German gigs, I have to say, the thing that I recall the most is our time in Berlin. And why? Because there was so many fun and marvelous and incredible things, and God knows it's so full of history. There were the castles, there were everything, there were being there with the girls and everything.
City.
It's a fabulous city. Yeah. But I want to start off my little photographic journey with you. My Odyssey now. Another one. I just have Odysseys just coming out of my orifices. Is that orify? Can somebody let me know? Is that orifices or orify? I need to know.
I don't want to think about any of it.
Don't think about any of this. So let's have the first photo. Matt Midland on Switcher. That is him doing it all. Here I am. Looking mighty cold, and it was fucking cold because it was this time of year. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It's coming up to exactly, as we can see. Look at that. 5th of October. Mittwoch. So 20 Uhr, which I believe is 8 o'clock. So live in Germany. So you can see we're literally right there right now. 5 years ago, almost to the day. And here we have Somebody's Child promoting blah, blah, blah. It was an exciting time, I must say. And then it was the four of us. If you could bring up that, there we go. That's Pedro Segundo without the giant hair. Can any of us remember when he looked like that? Look at his little cheeks. Look at his cheeks. He's a baby. Anyway, that's me. There's Leland. And there's Gabriella Swallow, darling. The four of us. Did we have a laugh riot? Yes, we did. And then it was the quartet that went out most of the time to promote Somebody's Child, and we had the best time. Now, some of the radios, some of the weirdest radio situations I've ever come across in my life, including giant fruit, vegetables, and cutouts of dogs. Here's one. This is a show that I was on where I was, in fact, surrounded by cutout. No, I'm not complaining. It was a highlight for me to be in this situation. But I didn't. None of us understood what it was about, did we?
No,
ever,
not at all.
Ever. I have no idea. Then there was this other time in the basement of somebody's house that was actually a radio studio. Remember that?
Yeah, that was
How
really
freakish was that? And yet it was a brilliant session.
It was a great show.
Amazing. And more importantly, there was a dog on the floor. That's an actual living dog.
Yeah.
And there's Lee pointing to it. Of course the dog's near Lee because, Lee is literally St. Francis of Assisi. And yet all animal creatures love him. Except drummers. There he is, St. Francis of Assisi there. Now, so there you have it. There's the we did the shows, we did everything, we toured and everything. But honestly, the fun came when we got out in the daytime. Here's a daytime shot to give you an example. Here I am in front of a very typical Germanic building. They make them look like that, all pretty and lovely, just to throw you off this. No. And there's Lee giving the finger in a heartfelt plea, wasn't it? Yeah, thank you. To remember exactly
It
who
just
we are.
means you're number one to me.
Yeah, you're number one. Yes. Now, as I said, Lee, greatest Sherpa of all baggage. But here's a very interesting time that we spent in Bonn. Can you show this next one? Birthplace of Beethoven. I don't know how it happened, but actually Beethoven came shopping. There he is with his wallet, his purse. He's got some beads on him. I think Pedro put those on, but who knows? But here's Beethoven and I shopping in the city of Bonn. How we weren't arrested for that?
No, you get away with things nobody else could get away with, just
Really?
because you have an aura about you of fear. So nobody's gonna fuck with you. Are you kidding me? Jesus,
I know.
I'm scared to death when
It's
we're
true.
out there. That's
It's
why
true.
I'm
He is
so compliant.
so compliant. He's terrified. But yeah, and as you can see it, this is how I spent most of the time. This is a very unflattering shot, but one I had to include because most of the time you could hear me laughing like some whore from the gutter because I was having such a good time. And yeah, that's pretty much the way I looked. You wonder why I have crow's feet. There it is, basically. This is why you get crow's feet, lazies. If you're Victoria Beckham, you make sure you never smile or laugh or actually ever express. But I can't help it, so I'm just, I can't help it. Now, here's a great shop in Bonn that I will remember for the rest of my life. Christ, it's a leather shop. It's a leather shop called Christ. And I don't know, I think I was channeling Mary there. What do you think, Lee? Do you remember that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's where I buy all my leather gear. And here's a shot of Leland inside a shop where he found a toy. It was a toy. It was a children's kind of abacus type toy that he made it look into a funny face. Yeah, again, I just never know why anybody puts up with this bullshit because it's sad and yet we find it so massively entertaining. Now, speaking of which, and massively entertaining, some of the best presents. You know that he bought me the fucker in charge of you fucking fucks. Here's the other best present ever. It's not Lee, although it could be. It is a tiny version of a character from Hieronymus Bosch's The Garden of Good and Evil. And that was the toy that I came home with, just to remind me of how amazing this trip had been. Isn't that I mean, literally, Lee, it's you.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still. I can't. I've lost my mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, are
watching
you sure that wasn't you? Now, remember that time in Finland where we went into the Russian Orthodox Church
Oh God, yes.
up on the hill, and I shit you not, every single painting of every saint looked like Lee. I'm not joking.
It was really.
It was like, Lee, there you are, dressed. There's another, and there's Lee there. Because of course it's the look.
Yeah, but it
It's the
was
look.
all better clothes than I normally wear, so I knew it wasn't me.
It wasn't you, definitely. So anyway, let's cut. So now we go to Berlin. Berlin, yes. There we have Lee looking out over the majestic dome of Berlin Cathedral, and it really is quite an extraordinary city. And we
Yeah.
did have an amazing time. We've been there a few times, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it's always been. And the place we always stay, again, this is not a joke, is the Radisson Blu. And when you walk into the lobby, their claim to fame is that they have the largest aquarium. And it is can you just show the size of this thing? This is in the lobby. I'm not sure it does it justice. It fills the lobby. It's so huge. You can see the scuba diving man in there cleaning it.
Yeah, there's an elevator in the middle of it.
There's an elevator in the middle of it that takes people up into it to look at the fish and things. And it fills the entire atrium. And God forbid if that thing cracks, then, thousands will die. But here's the great thing about it. When we first went there and checked in, and you told me about this because
Yeah.
you'd already been there. And I go into my room, I go up into my room, and I open the curtain. I'm like, why are the curtains closed? Open the curtains. And right in front of me is a group of visitors inside the aquarium, inside the lift, inside the elevator, staring at me into my room. That's why you keep the curtains closed. So this is the most bizarre hotel.
They thought you were a mermaid.
Well, they did. Or worse. Yeah, it'd be nice. But I wasn't, and it was the weirdest thing. But right outside was the cathedral. And then
Yeah.
just along the road is one of our favourite places that we went to, which is, I believe that is the Museum of Art, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty sure that is it.
Yeah.
There's Lee again, walking across. towards
Towards shopping.
the fountain, looking for the shopping. And here's a beautiful shot of, I didn't know that Berlin, it was like canals and rivers. And it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous city. And then let's have a quick look inside Berlin Cathedral, because that was mind-blowing, I have to say. I do believe I did an inappropriate dance in here, but I can't remember where it was. Again. But I mean, look at this. It's insanely beautiful. And the organ, look at that! Size of those pipes.
It is one big organ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then looking up into the dome. That's a big dome. Thank you.
Like a colander.
Down now, here's the bit that really creeped us out. Everybody that's ever died in the German royal family, when they used to have a German royal family, you know, the Wilhelms and the Wilhelms and the Ludwigs and Ludwigs, they're all entombed in the cathedral. So there's a big one upstairs. I can't remember who that was. It must have been Ludwig or something or other. Well, who knows? I should have looked this up beforehand, but I didn't. Downstairs in the crypt, which is where they always keep the crypt downstairs, are all the royal family, including the babies that never lived, like this one. And how creepy was it?
It was. There was an aura and a smell about it that was really strange.
It was so
very
strange.
Unnerving.
Yeah, it was unnerving because it had a embalming.
Yeah.
I thought it had a bit of a stank going on there down there.
Extensive, so many of them down there. It was really incredible. It was like almost a small city underneath.
It was unbelievable, and yet, of course, there they are. They are all there on. I mean, the actual caskets, work of art, of course.
They look like some of the audiences we played for.
There was more life in the crypt, I thought. To be honest with you, I thought they were they were livelier. Anyway, moving on. Who amongst us could not go to the Brandenburg Gate? Here we are. Here he is. Here's himself and myself looking back on the gorgeous Brandenburg Gate. It is a marvelous thing.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And I think I mentioned this before. I should have done, maybe. But there's a photograph, which I should have brought up, actually. My sister, hey Sue, she knows this very well, but there's a photograph of my dad when he was over in Germany, in Berlin. At the time, it was East and West, of course, and this really did mean something. He visited East as well, but with the Royal Opera House. And there's a photograph of him in exactly, remember when we took this?
Yeah,
and I said, I want to be in that position. That's exactly where my dad was.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, against the gate. Oh, I should have brought that one up. It's extraordinary. It's very, very moving. But there we are, having a good old time, enjoying the cold. But and the other thing that I found extraordinary, if you haven't been to Berlin, the whole Checkpoint Charlie thing is such a tourist thing. It's so touristy. Can you show that this is basically who you get to hang out with somebody. It could be anybody, and you slip them some money, and then you can have a pose. There, you can do that. Remember that?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Now, I remember going through Checkpoint Charlie when the wall had yet to come down and going into East Berlin, and it was really deep at that point. And now it's kind of like, just a little like a ride at Disneyland.
It is
very strange.
And it is strange because we forget that at that time people were. Well, it was just a brutal grip on humanity, and people were dying trying to get over to the West, and it really was a serious consequence of just going, okay, that's it, this is Russia, and that's there you go, that's it, that's the Soviet, and that's, I mean, it's another palpable act of utter cruelty, and it was very, very serious. And in many ways, Berlin is an extraordinary place because it really embraces its history. It embraces the Second World War. It embraces Nazism. It does all of that. It really leads with it. It doesn't pretend that that's not what it is. But this aspect of it, of the Soviet time, it's become it's a bit of a commercial situation now that you're left with.
The thing that's great is you're made aware of the history, but they don't celebrate the history.
No.
They acknowledge their history and the darkness of it.
Yeah, just
you don't
like
see statues of
no,
Hitler or any of these people.
And
around
you see the Holocaust Memorial Park, which is really moving because what it is just a labyrinth of high slabs. I mean, different heights.
Yeah.
And you walking through it, you think, well, why? What does this mean? And then you suddenly realize how claustrophobic and imposing it feels to be in there, and that's what it's all about. It's a very, very moving place. But sometimes a girl, even when she is very moved, needs to have some kind of she needs something to eat. Here's something that Lee found me. I don't know why, but it always entertained me, being obviously somebody who's never grown up. I'm a musician. That you can't do both. You can't. So I would look for great cornets. I'd look for ice cream, those giant things outside ice cream parlors, and would always enjoy having a photograph taken like that. That's the biggest we ever came across.
And 3 minutes later, you had finished it.
Yeah.
That's what. That was at the beginning. But
That was just the
actually
beginning.
ate that entire.
I ate the
thing.
entire thing. It's the kind of woman I am. But after that, after getting my fill of the plastic cornet, we moved on to possibly the most famous part. As you can see here, here he is, the wind blowing in his hairs. This is the beginning of the Berlin. Well, it's a section of the Berlin Wall, which is, again, you forget the grip that this city was in. It was east, it was west, it was prisoner on one side, free on the other, and that's literally how it was. Yeah. And when the wall came down in the 89, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, but when the wall came down, not only did people run off with parts of it, I think there must be enough Berlin Wall at this point that's been sold to take you to the moon, don't you think, to build the moon?
Probably. I have a piece of it at
I've
home.
got a piece. It's bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, but the truth is, after it came down, then people painted the most extraordinary art on it, and that's almost become the gallery. That's become what there's. I mean, look at this.
It's really amazing.
It's amazing. There you go. You see the boxes on the head. There's menorahs above. It's extraordinary. It's kind of this automaton creatures that are being painted. It's really, I don't know, it's just so damn powerful, the things these people painted on them. And then we have this, I've got to make sure that I had the right people, but this is possibly the most famous painting on the Berlin Wall, and of the wall graffiti. It's Leonid Brezhnev and Erich Honecker in a socialist fraternal kiss. This is a masterpiece. Yeah. Let me tell you, it's extraordinary when you see that. Moving along from that, you have these really vivid, almost German expressionist graffiti. I mean, it really
everything.
It's everything. But yeah, this is sort of this is extraordinary. This really does look like German expressionism, and again, it's just so moving. Here's another one with Einstein at the bottom, and Schiller, Goethe, all the great Germans, and it's just there you go. Look at that. Es gilt viel Marvin. Oh, I wish I knew what that was. But here's all sorts of races and people pulling down the bricks of the wall, which we just love so much. It's just like this strange cartoon. And then our favorite, which is a kind of one of those East German cars. It's like the German version of the Lada. I can't even, what were those things called?
I forget what that was called.
Oh my God.
Like
anyway.
Like the Yugo.
That's right. That's right. And so here it is, smashing through the wall. I just love that. Just love it. And then we've got this, God, that looks like Mussolini, but I'm not sure who that's meant to be. It says Sashara. That's probably the artist, but that's that is somebody, and I don't know who that is, but it's so extraordinary and beautifully done. It's beyond graffiti, really. It's really quite extraordinary. Then when we finished walking around the wall, this is what was so insane about Berlin, because it's a heavy weight on your heart when you go around there. Yeah. It still makes you, doesn't it, Lee? Just you feel the weight and the history.
Well, especially if you're of an age where you know what that represents. I don't know if it has the same effect for like young people that see it, because they don't realize when that was in place, what that represented is as far as life and death and all that. But it's deep. It's
really deep, and I think, yeah, you're right. If you're of an age where you don't know that really meant, as you said, that meant that you were a prisoner or a free man. Yeah. And people just died. They were dying constantly trying to get to freedom.
No, it's heartbreaking that when you and the museum at Checkpoint Charlie, where they have that's the cool thing, where they have like cars that have secret compartments in them where people were stashed trying to get across the border inside of luggage and all the things they did. I mean, it's the tenacity of humanity wanting to be free is a remarkable thing.
There's that amazing film with Mike Rylance and Tom Hanks. What is it called? Bridge of
Sighs.
Is it Bridge of Sighs?
I think it's Bridge of Sighs.
Yeah, and it really does. If you haven't seen that, it really does encapsulate the feeling what must have been the feeling of living in East Germany.
Yeah.
And that time, and how stark and dreadful and oppressive it was. And yeah, it's well worth a watch, I have to say. But then just, extraordinary city that it is, we walked back to the beautiful cathedral, back towards our giant aquarium.
Yeah.
And there's this man, only in Germany, by the way, because, there's a remarkable thing about Germany. It's like every city, every town has its theatre, its opera house, its love of music. Music is everywhere. It's still to this day. Do you remember that extraordinary concert we saw in Beethoven's house on his piano?
Oh, yeah. God, that was amazing.
Insane.
It was really amazing.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another sense of history kind of
Oh my God.
sitting on your shoulders
Yeah.
there.
How that's what I mean. It's like everything, and I remember the same thing when I visited Mendelssohn's house or wherever you went, or going to Mozart's home. It's always extraordinary. But that one took the biscuit on his piano. It was indescribable. Just a few of us in the room as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It must have been about 6 of us. Pedro,
Yeah,
you
it
and
was
I, and a
ver-
couple of
very
other
small.
people.
I
Yeah.
think the thing that shocked me the most was seeing Beethoven's B3 organ in the other room too. And I think there was a Wurlitzer piano also. I had no idea they went back that far. What? You look so pretty, Judy. It was deep. I'm sorry.
No, I needed that because
mess
at that
around.
point I was actually thinking, God, I've gone a bit serious now.
Yeah,
I wish I could back out of this.
I feel
I
like
thought to
Ed
myself.
McMahon sitting over
No,
here.
I actually thought I've gone too serious. For fuck's sake, Lee, do something, and you did.
Thank you.
You're a master.
I could feel it.
I could feel it too. So we turn the corner, and speaking of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, this is what we get to. Oh my gosh. Now, it's one thing somebody playing glasses of water. I've seen it before, and it's always like something very, very, pedestrian and easy. Eine kleine Nachtmusik. I think that's what it was. What the fuck? I mean, that was a for fuck's sake, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was a right royal.
amazing. It was really
We,
amazing.
we couldn't
Gifted.
believe. Well, obviously, we didn't give him any money.
You didn't?
No, I don't think either of
I
us
gave him everything you gave me, which is nothing. I wanted to.
You cannot trust them, people. You cannot trust musicians. Anyway, that's the end of our little Odyssey. But that was our one trip. But there's so many. I mean, we've been back so many times. But in every town, city, pretty much anywhere in Europe, anywhere throughout the world. I mean, good grief. We have to do one about Australia.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, absolutely.
By itself, just Australia by itself is enough to make you a happy person. But I hope you've enjoyed our little. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of those.
This
things.
is really
It's really
great.
cute,
I
isn't
mean,
it? I got a little teary, I have to say, watching these
verklempt.
things earlier. I got verklempt.
Yeah.
Because it was so, and I even got Gustav Klimt, because I was just, Oh, for fuck's sake. Do you know what? When your Siri starts talking to you on your watch, you know that they're a piece of shit.
Siri had been to Germany too and had a story to tell.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Fuck her.
not as good as yours.
Not as good. German language of love. Just remember that. I used to start every show with to the German audience. German, the language of love. I would start, and they would scream with laughter. I mean, that's what would kill me, is just how great they were, knowing full well that their sense of humor perhaps is a little like that, and their language is a bit, So anyway, they bless their hearts. They were fucking
They're a
great
great audience
audiences,
there. They're
bloody
really
great. So anyway, that being said, here is the song that I wrote from that little trip to the Berlin Wall with Leland, because I found it so unutterably moving. And it made me think of a time that most of us, not me, have forgotten, which was that period when East really meant prison and West meant freedom. Things are happening in the world as we know right now. Afghanistan, one of them, one of many, where exactly those things are happening. So this is the song that I wrote about the need to pull your freedom back, to stand up, to speak out, to fight it. Ultimately important in this day and age. This is Ariane. I've traveled, I have wandered, pondered on the cruelty that I see all around. So much heartache, so much sadness, love and some forgiveness when you put the baton down. Arianne, why don't you wake up and wake up? Why don't you face us all? Arianne, why don't you rise up, tear down this wall? Arianne, I feel your prison. Just pretend you know. Oh, that's what you're used to. And keep your smile on, 'cause it's sure to pull you through. Arianne, why don't you wake up and wake up? Why don't you face them all? Oh, Arianne, why don't you rise up, tear down that wall? Didn't nobody love you? Didn't nobody like you? Say things to make you feel special and delight you. How else would you know that you're free as a bird? I've been traveling, I've been thinking. I've seen faces, cruel places that left the hopeless sinking. Well, we all live with walls around us, but we must break those chains that bind us. Arianne, why don't you wake up and wake up? Why don't you face us all? Arianne, why don't you rise up and rise up? Why don't you turn down that wall? Arianne, why don't you rise up? Tear down this. Woo.
Rise up, tear down those walls, tear down those walls.
Cute.
I love that song so much.
It's just,
And truly reflective of the mood we were in when we left that wall.
it was truly reflective. Thank you, Kate. We got a beautiful there. We got a super from Scott Susan. Oh, my sweetheart. Too amazing. Hey, Jane Tillotson. So good to see you. Oh, holy for fuck's sake, this is good. I'm so glad. Kevin, I'm glad you're happy with the bass now, because otherwise,
No,
the
no
Pastromio.
No, no. You
Leandro
don't mess with Kevin.
Don't mess with Kevin's pastrami.
No.
Or his meat.
Nice buns.
Thank you. Oh my God! Remember the whole thing we got into? It was, it's really musicians are children, but why grow up when you don't have to?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
We're going to this whole rant where it was, blow me, like you go, somebody would say something to you, and because we're so rude to each other, can't leave the room, can't leave the bus. Yeah, and it would be blow me, then it'd be bite me, tweeze me. Bun me. That's our favourite. Wax me. There was all sorts, weren't there?
It was just pathetic.
Yeah,
And
it was
it's
great.
such
Eat me.
Yeah.
Didn't use that often. They're ugly. So yeah, it was great. It was lovely. The good days. Halcyon days. So moving on now, let's just go to the next stop. Literally after Germany, language of love, we rushed over to Ireland, yes, where I've just been. We went back to Ireland. And we'd been there many times too, hadn't we?
Yeah, I love
Now, the
it.
first time we
Fabulous.
went, oh my God, my sister met us in, oh God, what was the name of that? What was the name of the hotel that we always stay on by the Liffey, by the river?
Oh God, what's the name of it? Yeah.
And when you get there, they greet you with hot
Cookies.
with hot biscuits, chocolate biscuits, because I can't eat them, so everybody else had them. So that was crap. But anyway, it was gorgeous, and it would be overlooking the Liffey, and it was just tremendous. And the good news was, I'm looking up band things to do, because that's what you do. I look up sort of fun things to do for the band. And the best thing we found, this was the time before this, a year before, was the Leprechaun Museum of Ireland. Just about one of the greatest. Sue came up and met us, and it was a laugh out. Fantastic. Was it not fantastic?
It was the cheesiest thing
Cheesiest pile
I've
of
ever seen
shit.
in my life.
And I have to say, it was so worth it. I recommend, I like bad shit everywhere I go. I mean, I love bad shit, okay? And I think I spoke before about there was a room which was, everything was built like
Giant.
3 times the scale,
Yeah.
so that we all felt like leprechauns. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And that was the time that Pedro tried to jump onto the giant
And
chair
tracked him.
and instead almost emasculated himself. If you know what I mean. We all heaved with laughter. We were laughing our asses
the
off.
pot of gold.
Pot of gold. And there's this woman all in green talking like that. Like she's totally somewhere. It was like a really nice Sinead. And it was all this kind of like, if you follow the pot of gold. And it was all that kind of, the story of Ireland. Where it was fantastic. And then she'd go, yo, do you feel this? And bring you into the story. And it was only children in there for starters and parents. And then there's us.
With Pedro.
He was the excuse for taking him
was a
in,
child.
okay? As a child, obviously. Now, in 2016, I didn't know what else the fuck I could do to top that, because once you've gone to the Leprechaun Museum in Ireland, there's very few other places you can go, except 2016. I heard tell that the world's most excruciatingly bad, Dublin, wax museum happens to be in Dublin. And off we went. But before that, can I just tell you, here's the mystery. Well, you know what? Let's start with that first, and then we'll take you to the next place. But let's start. Let's jump past the first one, Matt. And let's go straight to the Wax Museum. They had all the politicians. Oh, no, wrong one. Let's go to the politicians. I think you're out of order now. Yeah, can you see? There I am. I'm there. You see it. The Reverend Ian Paisley. They shall go to heaven. That's the Reverend Ian Paisley right there. I love your hair. I love your hair. That's him there. He was a right piece of work. He's Catholic, I think. No, he wasn't. He was a proddy, wasn't he? I know nothing. Then can't even tell you who these people are, except I know that a few of them, Jerry, blah, blah. What's his name? He's now in the government. Sue, tell me who these people are, for fuck's sake. So here we are. There's me being very serious in amongst all the great politicians. And now on the next photo, can you see that one? Can you see Lee, anyone? Can you? Does anybody spot Lee? Remember that?
Yeah, I can't, and it's hard for me to see it because of the light reflecting.
No, you're in there.
But we went there. I thought we were going to get waxing. I didn't realize it was figurines. I thought we were going to be Brazilianed out.
I thought it was going to be the wax museum, as in waxing. There's Lee in the background looking. It's like a Where's Waldo moment. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I look like a wax figure.
No. Wait till you see. There's more coming. Don't you worry. But here we go. Now, moving forward, there was a beautiful part which was Father Christmas, but actually it was Lee. You can't see yourself again from back there. But remember this. It's like, what's Lee doing in a bed in the Arctic? What? Anyway, there's Lee. As Father Christmas, so we all that was a real winning moment.
You were such a good girl. I told you were going to get all the gifts you wanted.
You did say that. In fact, I didn't get.
Jude.
Oh, thank you. I didn't get any. That was what's so weird. Anyway, and then because of course it's Ireland, here are the popes. 'Tis himself.
Wow.
Now I think the one on the left is that's the one now.
That's the Pope on a rope.
Yeah. And the one on the right is the Pope that was Paul something or other, looking like he hasn't eaten for like a year. Yeah. So there they are. 'Tis himself. I don't even know why you'd have that. But moving on, this is my favourite of the lot.
Like going to Pea Soup Anderson.
Now, obviously, this is Kylie Minogue. I mean, if I was Kylie Minogue, I'd take out a cease and desist, wouldn't you, or a restraining order on this one?
Actually, that is her.
No. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, she
was visiting the museum.
Oh, she was visiting. Oh my God, she's not looking good. Next, we have obviously Boy George. I mean, if that isn't, well, I thought it was Guy Fawkes, but actually it was it was Boy George, wearing the kind of clothes he wouldn't be seen dead in, or made of wax.
He is dead.
He's not, darling. And there's the rest of Culture Crub. Now this is the winner. This is the winner. Wait for it. This is, hang on, let me get this up. Hang on. This is Colin. It is Colin Farrell, isn't it? Colin fucking Farrell, obviously, as Alexander the Great. Now, this left me speechless. Okay, now I know that it was a bad film and everybody wished it had never been made in the first place, but this made it. I thought it was worth it.
It's pretty great, but Harry actually looked better in that outfit when.
Well, speaking of Harry, now we come along to one that Harry was there. Derek Smalls' head was being lifted up by a Viking.
Yeah.
Now that was spooky.
It was really great.
It was great, wasn't it? Because we didn't even know. I mean, what's he even doing there? Meanwhile, the Viking looks so upsetting. I don't even know what to say. Next, I believe. Yeah. Now, the bloke on the left in the crochet tea cozy, that's meant to be David Bowie. Behind him is Elvis. It looks more like a bad Tom Jones impersonator. But yeah, in the corner is oh God, what are the name of those twins? You know, Jedwood. Because I mean, exactly. Matt just went who, and thank you. That's all you need to know. And in front of them, don't laugh. I think the woman in front of them with the corset is meant to be fucking Madonna. Can you?
Wow.
That's extraordinary. I think that was her in her
Prime.
pointy Jean-Paul Gaultier moment, wasn't it? Over the shirt, though.
Yeah.
Oh, like she did. Never. So here we go. And then moving on swiftly to my personal favourite. No, it's not Harry Styles. It's Michael Jackson. Sorry. Now, the only thing that you can say that you like about this is that he is actually white. This is a waxwork dummy that they made, tried to look like Michael Jackson. You gotta love that. Got to love it.
It was a candle, I think.
I think it originated as a candle. Now, at some point, I found out that there was a kind of a Lord of the Things Game of Drones department. So I got down there and got busy pointing at things with this Celtic-looking creature. Yeah, and then we had a fucking argument. Got nasty, and there we are. We're having a point off. It's a very Irish Celtic thing to do, isn't it? I've been told, but of course, it is Lee taking all these photos. Can I just remind you the reason that Lee is the photographer in this? Which is a mighty photographer that you are, Lee.
Well, it gives me something to do while you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah. Well, you can't. You mean you can't have everyone having a good time?
No. Somebody has to work. I love this. I love the Chamber of Horrors.
Yeah.
And all of the stuff about torture and all that.
Oh my God, I've got that. Should I have included that?
No. The show is torture enough.
Thank you. Oh my God. You know, I should never
I didn't mean this
feel
show.
pity. Oh, I thought you meant this show. Fucking hell. I'm being.
You look beautiful, Judy.
Thank you, darling. So there's a whole area of it which was a torture chamber where you could see basically somebody being torn apart on the rack with maggots coming out of them. It was just like.
Yeah.
And that's a good day out for the kids. By the way, we were also the only grown-ups there that day as well, as far as I can make out. But, you know, here's the weird thing in life. So we're out in Ireland promoting somebody's child, and we're walking back from laughing our asses off at this incredible waxwork museum, and we turn a corner and we see this.
That was like getting hit with like a baseball bat in your stomach.
That was
seeing that
ridiculous.
wall. Yeah.
It was
because it's so dark and terrible.
So now this, somebody's child. What are the chances? Mine, of course, about homelessness, about people who are lost, the lost people in the streets, the people that just slip between the cracks in life, of which there are more and more and more and more growing every day. Join me here in beautiful California and LA on the beach. You cannot imagine what it's like. But now this particular memorial, so moving. It's about all the children that were lost at the hands of the Catholic Church, whether it be through, you know, the laundries where the young girls, the young badly behaved girls, often pregnant, went to be hidden, to give birth, and then the babies to suddenly disappear or be adopted out, but mostly
killed.
Mostly killed, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Those Magdalene laundries, as they called them, and or rather, Joni Mitchell wrote an amazing song about. And it really is so. It was so moving being up against. And if you pull that photo back again, Matt, in every one of those boxes, there were multiple names of the children that were lost forever, that were never found again. And you would go up to them, and there were thousands, thousands of thousands. There's the ones that are known. Let alone the ones that
dated back in the 1800s and stuff. I mean, this goes way back. The cruelty was unbelievable.
The cruelty of it. But anyway, what an unbelievably ironic moment to be actually out there with something called Somebody's Child, and to turn the corner and see that. So it's a very moving moment, and that is what really, really, really made sense of this next song. Strangely enough, because this song is absolutely about that, about how you don't know what really is going on behind closed doors, how just because the front looks good, just because you have the shiny door, the shiny house, the lovely looking, the whatever it might be, the, you know, seemingly
the facade.
A facade. It doesn't mean that's what's going on behind. It really, really doesn't. And so, strangely, of course, on this record, here was this song, which we're about to play right now, called Shiny Houses. country in a small town. Let's start that again, my love.
Sure.
And yeah, I forgot my reverb. Of course I did. Country in a small town, in a village full of friends, in a warm house in a bedroom, sits a girl who never tells. Who believe it, who would wonder? Happy families, one and all. But there is one who comes to see her, pins her up against the wall. Where will you go? Tell me. What would you do to find a friend? Who will you be? Tell me. When will this nightmare end? And when will this be done? Country in a city, in a street of wealthy men, in a warm house, in a nursery, sits a boy who's never well. 'Cause bad things hide in shiny houses. Who can tell when seen from afar? Public faces are for public, and darkness makes the brightest stars. Where will you go? Tell me. What will you do to find a friend? Who will you be? Tell me. When will this nightmare end? And when will this be done? Does what power pleases. Liars tell the best of lies. Everybody hides in plain sight, keeping secrets in the tribe. Bad things hide in shiny houses. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lee. Beautiful.
Wow, goosebumps.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, speaking of goosebumps.
No, I just said goosebumps. I mean, we would have to make a big deal out of it.
I'm just going to drink my own urine. I don't know why I said that. But there was nowhere I could go, you see. When you've been fucking flattened on the floor on your own show in front of your own top fans.
Love you too.
Love you too. I'm so happy to play. It's so fantastic. It's just amazing. This is not my own urine. This is apple cider vinegar.
It's mine.
It is, in fact. Yes.
Wow. not out the nose. Not out the nose, please.
I'm sorry. It takes me back. Now my screen is completely bloody well just stopped altogether again. It's a naughty bugger, isn't it? But here's the thing. Can we all please? I know I can't hear you, but I can. Can we all go, woo! I can't hear you, but I can. Leland Sklar.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here, really.
We are there. They are. People all saying how much they're enjoying that. Oh, good with a little mint, says Kevin Olbinder, and that's a man who knows his pastrami.
Oh no, there's nobody like Kevin. Is so unique. He is a Renaissance man. The music he makes, everything, his photography, his meat. His meat is something to behold.
It's meats.
Oh, meats. No.
All right, can we just explain? Kevin Olbinder not only is the man behind Katz's Deli in New York. That's why we're referring to his meats. Yeah. What did you think we were talking about?
You're
Filth.
you're so naughty.
Filth. But he's also an amazing musician, guitarist, singer-songwriter, and a photographer. The photographs he's taken of us throughout the years, extraordinary. So, Kevin, you are indeed a Renaissance man. It's that kind of a guy. But mostly the meats.
And he's a great cuddle.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, we've gone back into the meat locker and cuddled, and it's pretty amazing. Take a little handful of sauerkraut with you, and it's like dying going to heaven. I'm sorry, I forgot what it was. Sorry.
I'm just going to drink a little bit more of Lee's
urine. the glass blower's urine.
Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Yeah. That's another story for another time.
Yeah.
We've got so many extraordinary. But can I hear a massive rousing, for fuck's sake, applause for Mr. Leland Sklar? Come on, Kevin. In there, too.
And I brought Frankenstein with me today to play with
that.
you. This is my Frankenstein bass.
Can you explain it, please?
Very quickly. This bass is on probably 85% of everything I've ever recorded in my career. I had a Fender Precision bass neck sitting around back in 1973 and didn't know.
That's enough.
Didn't know.
Anyway, back to the No.
I've already. No, we're done. We're done.
I have longed to do that for so long. I'm so sorry.
No, just play another one of your...
He's actually got snot coming out of his nose.
No,
we're having such a good time.
Just play another one of your fucking songs,
Oh,
okay?
fuck you.
No, fuck you.
No, seriously,
really?
come on.
What?
Come on. No, I just needed to. It was a cheap
No,
gag.
it was the show was getting too interesting, so let's skip that.
No, come on. 1975, he put this bass together and actually created...
No, it's your story now? That's wrong.
All right, carry on.
Okay, 73. Okay, so this is a blank. The body was made by a company called Charvel, which made replacement parts for instruments. This was originally supposed to be a precision bass, which would have had one set of these pickups sitting there, but in reverse position. I got together with John Carruthers, who was the repairman at Westwood Music, which was the watering hole for mostly musicians in the 70s in L.A., Fred Wallace's store on Westwood Boulevard. So we went over there. We ended up getting, these are the very first EMGs that Rob made when he started EMG Pickup Company. We bought these, but we put them where jazz pickups would have gone. And the original position of these kind of pickups would be, this would be here and this would be here. But I thought about the fact that these two strings don't read as well as the smaller strings, so why not put this half of the pickup closer to the bridge for clarity? So we did this underneath this cover here, which Oscar the Grouch signed when I did Sesame Street with James Taylor, is two 9-volt batteries because I didn't want to cut another hole into it. It has a badass tube bridge. On the back of the headstock is the original prototype for Hipshot detuners. And it was one of those things, it was a project that could have sucked. And this is the first bass I ever put mandolin frets on. So the normal bass frets are quite big. This is the smallest fret wire you can put on an instrument. And it just ended up, as soon as we plugged it in, John Carruthers and I looked at each other and went, holy crap. And it's just a beautiful instrument. countless projects and tours. This is on Another Day in Paradise with Phil Collins, all kinds of stuff, and it's still my go-to bass. But I used to take it on the road, and I don't take it anymore with me because it almost got stolen on a trip to Phoenix, 1 hour flight to go do Nils Lofgren's record. And I arrived in Phoenix, and the bass didn't arrive. And I think baggage handlers in Burbank were trying to steal it. And it was found in a freight locker. And I got the police involved immediately.
Now, it's also covered in signatures of
Oh,
your
yeah.
who's
Oh,
who.
It's got every. It started totally blank. In 1981, the Dodgers won the World Series, and we got called to go play Queen's "We Are the Champions" with the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
They were signing baseballs at the end of the session, and I said, "Sign my bass." And they went, "Really? You're kidding?" I said, "No, sign it." So the Dodgers all signed it. Then I was on the road with James Taylor, and we were at a gig, and Rocky Blyer and Lynn Swann from the Pittsburgh Steelers were there.
Oh,
And
my
they saw it, and they said, "Oh, baseball players are pussies. You need football players on it." So they signed it. And then all of a sudden, I mean, there's B.B. King staring at me there, and I got Joan Baez is right here. Peter Max put this little Saturn on here
Oh, I
right
see
next
that.
to where George Lucas wrote "May the Force Be With You."
Oh, my God.
On the back, there's everybody from Merle Haggard to Chet Atkins to Andy Griffith to Flaco Jimenez, the great button accordion player, Rodney Crowell. I mean, it just became kind of this thing that, and it's just a lot of fun, but it's still my favorite instrument. And
Have you ever had like a company? I know you have. It obviously deals with.
Duplicate this.
Yeah.
Actually, Fender contacted me recently about doing this. And I'm hesitant about it because it was never a Fender bass, so I think it's a misconception. It was a Fender neck, but not a Fender body. And I don't think this could really be duplicated because when I went and found this body, there was a huge stack of these blank bodies, these Alder precision-based bodies. And what I did to check it out was I just hung each one from a piece of wire and just tapped them. And this one resonated better than any of the others. So that's you know, there's more involved than
There's
just cutting
more
out.
to it than just putting
Yeah,
it on. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I have a Hofner bass, and when I got my Hofner, it took I've tried 12 of them till I found one that I really liked. So you know, just because they look the same and they're made out of the same material, there's so many things that can go on with it. But I think I've taken your show down a direction.
God in
now
heaven, I think.
that,
I listen.
It's too
for those,
serious.
No, it is too serious. Listen, for those,
mean, for fuck's sake.
for fuck's sake, Kevin and. Oh, my signature is on there, I believe,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in there.
Yeah.
I'm in there. Yeah, oh, yeah. I don't know if you can see it anymore.
It's everything's too jumbled up. You wouldn't,
Yeah,
wouldn't be
I'm
able to
there.
see it.
I'm there.
And plus, I have her tattooed on my.
That's enough.
Okay.
You've said too much.
That was-
but
that was
the
in
good news
Germany.
that was in Germany. But also, this is probably the one, the bass that you've recorded most on my stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
And definitely on this neck. I think you did it
Yeah.
on this next song, which
Yeah.
is what we're going to end on. I would like to remind you that every single day on his YouTube channel, this man does the most extraordinary thing, which is to basically play and introduce and describe and tell stories about recording. Well, how many songs have you recorded at this point? How many thousands? Well, thousands and thousands
Well,
and thousands.
I've played on probably about 25,000.
Yeah.
So,
So he's got many
and I
years of this to
featured
go.
you today again.
It-
You've been on many times. You've been on my channel,
Oh.
and I'm so proud of our relationship.
I know. But once he leaves the room,
Oh,
he'll be
fuck this-
shitting all
fuck
over
this
me.
shit.
Fuck
Fuck
that
this
bitch.
shit.
He'll be saying. Fuck that bitch.
No, there's
Anyway.
nobody like you.
Oh.
You look
so
pretty, Judy.
So check that out. It's an amazing, amazing thing you do every single day. It's
haven't
remarkable.
missed a day
Thank
since-
you so much for coming here today.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm so thrilled. I'm thrilled you're back. I'm sorry you had to come back and because you were having such a good time with Sue and everything. but you will be back.
I've got two dogs, two giant,
Yeah.
humongous chocolate. Oh, and Harry. Fuck. No, I almost forgot. I have a husband who needs me. So anyway, that being said, thank you so much for joining me on For Fuck's Sake today, and thank you, my gorgeous fans, for sharing a little bit of your Sunday with me. Me, your hostess with the mostest love of this man, Leland Sklar, who is so extraordinary and who graces so much of my music. I'm such a fortunate individual, let me tell you. I hope you'll join me next week. We might actually be able to maybe get him back, or maybe get something. We can just do something special for
We'll
a
figure
very,
something out.
very particular show next week that has a very particular circus theme. To play you out, here is, I have to say, one of the just about my favorite song to play with you. Apart from Blackbird, this is the one.
Yeah.
This is the one, probably because we just came at it together at the same time. The minute I wrote it, there was Lee, and we played. This is always a duet. This is always an inspiration to me. And again, along the lines of Somebody's Child and that incredible memorial in Ireland, this really is about the people, all those people who in their heart have a little light, a beacon, a light for the people that have been lost, for the people they don't know where they've gone, where they are at all. There's so many lost people in this world, children, adults, people. This is a song about those people. Thank you very much. Thank you, Matt Midland. Thank you, Kevin.
Always,
I will see you next Sunday. Thank you so much. This is Josephine.
I will light this candle in the bay of the window of my heart, and I'll keep it burning for you, just in case we should meet her on life's path. And Josephine, coming home, I said, Josephine, I said, when you're coming, when you're coming, when you're coming home. There's 1,000 people hiding what they're all running from. I think I know. So I'll keep this lighthouse burning, just in case you should ever show yourself. And then Josephine, coming home, I said, Josephine, when you're coming, when you're coming, when you're coming home. I said, Josephine, when you're coming, when you're coming. When you're coming,
Love you, Jude.